Welcome back. In this episode, viewers saw bits of that immaturity in the previous episode. He was jealous, reactive, and sometimes a little thoughtless. But in episode 6, we see him step into a more grounded, more responsible version of himself. Ironically, he becomes the adult in the room next to Connor, who is technically older than him but emotionally far less stable in this moment. This contrast creates an interesting inversion. Georgie, the one who has often stumbled through adulthood, is now the figure offering guidance, empathy, and structure. Connor, usually cheerful and awkwardly upbeat, is the one falling apart. This dynamic becomes even more pronounced as the McAllister family attempts, somewhat clumsily, to rally around Connor. Their efforts are simultaneously touching and dysfunctional, creating a blend of humor and sadness that highlights the strange, chaotic way this family handles emotional crises. For instance, when Connor sinks into a gloomy haze while attempting to write a resume, Mandy casually suggests day drinking as a solution. What begins as a joking, slightly irresponsible gesture soon spirals into an impromptu daytime alcohol-fueled bonding session involving both parents. It's funny, chaotic, and very on-brand for the McAllisters, whose idea of emotional support teeters between sincere concern and questionable decision-making. While the scene is comedic and not out of place within the show's style, it also underscores the absurdity of their coping mechanisms. It's difficult to argue that getting intoxicated with his parents is what Connor needed in order to heal emotionally or spark creative motivation. His pain is real, and it requires more than jokes and alcohol to process. In that sense, these moments highlight the limitations of the family's emotional toolbox. Their intentions are good, but their actions don't truly help him move forward. Georgie, on the other hand, is the one who genuinely tries the hardest to be there for Connor. He checks on him, encourages him, listens to him, and tries to inspire him to take productive steps toward improving his situation. Unfortunately, the episode doesn't follow through on Georgie's efforts in a meaningful way. Despite his attempts to be supportive, those scenes don't lead to substantial emotional progress. While it's heartwarming to see Georgie putting in so much effort, it also feels like a missed opportunity that the episode doesn't allow his involvement to make a deeper impact on Connor's journey. But even though Georgie's guidance doesn't end up directly changing Connor's trajectory, Connor eventually finds his own spark of motivation, ironically through music. And this is where the episode finally reaches its most memorable and quirky segment. A major turning point arrives when Connor decides to channel his feelings of heartbreak into creating a new piece of music, something that reflects both his pain and his unique personality. Not only does this give him a creative outlet, but it also provides the writer's room to showcase a side of Connor that had previously been hinted at but not fully explored: his musical talent and his passion for unconventional, offbeat art. In a delightful twist, Connor even crafts a track to send to the real Dr. Demento, and yes, the episode includes a cameo from the legendary cult radio figure himself. This cameo adds charm and authenticity, bridging the fictional world of the show with real pop culture history, especially for viewers familiar with Dr. Demento's legacy of promoting weird, quirky, humorous music. The scene in which Connor records his pump-up music is especially entertaining. It's energetic, creatively shot, and full of the earnest enthusiasm that makes Connor such a lovable character. For a brief moment, viewers are led to believe that he might produce something straightforward or traditionally melodic. But in true Connor fashion, the final product, a song titled "Do the Axolotl," veers into wonderfully bizarre territory. The song fits perfectly within Dr. Demento's catalog of novelty tracks. Odd, comedic, slightly chaotic, yet strangely catchy. It's the sort of tune that leaves you wondering whether it represents the early work of a hidden genius or the creative rambling of someone beautifully eccentric. Interestingly, if you're familiar with modern indie or experimental pop trends, the kind filled with whimsical lyrics, unusual metaphors, and quirky sound choices, "Do the Axolotl" wouldn't feel entirely out of place. But unsurprisingly, Connor's parents fail to understand it at all. Their confused reactions serve as comedic punctuation, reinforcing the generational and personality differences at play. Despite the episode's strengths, Heartbreak and the Refuge of the Downtrodden suffers from a familiar structural issue that has affected several installments of the series: its tendency to leave conflicts unresolved. At times, this narrative choice works, especially in episodes that are clearly designed to build tension or set up future storylines. But here, the lack of resolution leaves the story feeling slightly incomplete. Connor begins in a place of despair, finds some creative momentum, but does not fully process or overcome his emotional wounds before the episode ends. Viewers don't get closure, and the arc feels like it ends in the middle rather than at a natural stopping point. Fortunately, the episode compensates for this with excellent character development. In many ways, Episode 6 marks a significant turning point for Connor. It reveals deeper emotional layers, demonstrates his resilience, and sets the stage for him to grow into a more complex, fully formed character in future episodes. If the season continues to build on what this episode establishes, his vulnerability, his creativity, his need for belonging, and his connection with the McAllisters and Georgie, Connor may evolve into one of the most compelling characters in the entire series. Stay with us for more recaps and reviews on Bullseye Movies.